Early this morning, the air defense system of the Revolutionary Guard's Aerospace Division bravely shot down an unmanned U.S. spy aircraft which trespassed our borders and was violating our national security boundary.
Iranian reports that this aircraft was shot down over Iran are categorically false.
We're not going to be talking too much about it. You're going to find out they made a very big mistake.
So the Iranians shoot down a U.S. military drone, a very sophisticated drone, escalating tensions. There you see it on the map, the Strait of Hormuz, where much of the world's oil travels through. And so this has really escalated tensions both here in Washington and around the world. Some leading senators commented on the possibility of whether this could lead to war.
The nation on high alert at this hour, waiting to see what move the Trump administration will make next, if any, in response to the latest provocation from Iran. National security correspondent Jennifer Griffin is live at the Pentagon with the latest there tonight. Jennifer, good evening.
Good evening, Sandra. Competing narratives from Iran and the Pentagon about where the drone was shot down. Iran's foreign minister tweeted this hand-drawn map and some coordinates that would have put the drone about 8 miles off the coast of Iran in Iranian waters. The Pentagon responded with a map showing a flight path and a denial the unmanned drone was over Iranian territory, claiming it was in international waters, roughly 20 miles from Iran's shoreline. This Air Force video shows the moment of impact and then the spiraling wreckage.
This attack is an attempt to disrupt our ability to monitor the area following recent threats to international shipping and the free flow of commerce. Iranian reports that this aircraft was shot down over Iran are categorically false.
The Iranians released this video in response of what they say was the advanced surface-to-air missile used to shoot down the American drone. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs arrived at the White House with military options for the president. The president gave himself and Iran's leaders an out, perhaps to get them to the negotiating table.
I find it hard to believe it was intentional, if you want to know the truth. I think that it could have been somebody who was loose and stupid that did it. But we'll be able to report back, and you'll understand exactly what happened. But it was a very foolish move. That I can tell you.
Congressional leaders have now been briefed, and Democrats leaving those meetings at the White House appear to accept the White House version of events. Tonight, they warned about bumbling into a war. Sandra?
Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon for us tonight. We'll see what happens over the next 24 or 48 hours. Jennifer, thank you.
But what I'm really appalled by, quite frankly, Sandra, is all the people in Washington who are spending so much time trying to blame Donald Trump for this escalation of tensions. You had Joe Biden go out today and say that this is a completely self-inflicted wound. Yeah. I mean, Donald Trump didn't put a mine on a Japanese oil tanker. Donald Trump didn't shoot down a U.S. drone. Iran did those things. And the fact is, the reason why Donald Trump has had to impose these sanctions is because of the Obama administration's nuclear deal, which what happened was when Donald Trump came into office, Iran was on the march across the Middle East, in Syria, in Lebanon, in Yemen, across the whole region, and it was fueled by the pallets of cash and billions of dollars in sanctions relief that came from that nuclear deal. The promise of the nuclear deal was it's going to improve Iran's behavior. Instead, it had the opposite effect. So what Donald Trump did is he canceled the nuclear deal and he imposed massive sanctions on the Iranian regime. Yeah. We've taken away $10 billion of their assets, and they no longer have money to fund Hamas and Hezbollah and all these terrorist groups, and so they're lashing out because they're frustrated that the Trump strategy is working.
I spoke to a member of the president's team this morning, Peter Navarro, who suggested that those sanctions, as far as they're concerned, have worked beautifully on pressuring Iran.
Yes. The reason is the red line that Secretary Pompeo said was if one single American is killed by either Iran or Iranian proxy, there's going to be a military response. And so you notice they didn't blow up a U.S. tanker. They tried to blow up a Japanese tanker. They didn't shut down a manned plane. They shot down an unmanned plane. They are boxed in. They're boxed in financially by the sanctions, and they're boxed in militarily. Every president before him, from Bill Clinton to Ronald Reagan, has used American force to respond to provocations by terrorist regimes. So he doesn't need congressional authorization to strike Iran in a limited strike. And people need to understand there's a difference between a military strike and going to war. Lots of presidents have launched military strikes. Bill Clinton launched military strikes. Ronald Reagan launched military strikes on Libya, and it didn't lead to a wider war. Sometimes a military strike, when it's targeted and limited, is actually designed to increase deterrence and prevent a broader war. The danger is if we don't respond, and if we if an American is killed and we don't respond, then that increases Iranian aggression across the world.